The fight before the fight is done. The official weigh-ins for UFC 156 Aldo versus Edgar are now in the history books, and the champion bursted onto that stage as well as the challenger. These guys appeared like they didn't have any struggle whatsoever to make weight.
It was the first time I've actually seen Frankie Edgar with a little drawn out in his cheeks, but it wasn't really that much. We talked a couple days ago, and he said he weighed about 158 and thereabouts, and getting his weight down, so it's really not that big of a weight cut. 13 pounds for a wrestler like Frankie Edgar is not that big of a deal, but I was really surprised at how much bigger Jose Aldo actually was over Frankie. That, to me, during that weigh-in was the really big apparent thing, is that Frankie, even at 45, still is not that big a guy, but I do think he's going to be a lot faster.
Of note were the two monster heavyweights that stepped on the scale, Antonio Bigfoot Silva and Alistair Overeem. Bigfoot looked like he was struggling to get his clothes off before he stepped on a scale, whereas Alistair walked out with his typical swagger, and then when these two guys locked eyes, it almost got ugly again.
You know, Silva walked in at about 264, 263, but had to get down to almost to his underwear completely. And Alistair comes running up. He weighs in at 264, but he's got 4 pounds of jeans on, plus his belt when he steps on the scale, which tells me that Alistair's in much better shape. He was smiling. He didn't look like he was drawn out. He looked flush. He looked full at the weigh-in, and Antonio Silva looked like he was falling apart. Had to put his hand on somebody just to get his shoes off. He was completely falling apart. I have to be honest with you. I kind of thought this fight was going to be close, but if I'm looking at the weigh-in and trying to go off of this, which is usually what I do, he's going to get beat up. Bigfoot is going to get beat up now by Overeem. He is in so much better shape and looks better. He has more confidence, which at this point now the mental game is the biggest portion of it.
Of note was when Maia and John Fitch both made their way up to the stage. Maia used to fight at 185, yet he weighs in today at 168, 169 with his shorts on. Those shorts weigh. This guy's having an easier time making weight at 170 than he is at 185, and John Fitch beelined right to Damian, had that look in his eye. He is all business.
But Maia kind of changed up his diet a little bit, working with Vanderlei, wanted to make sure making weight is going to be a lot easier, so Vanderlei helped him out when they're training, and he did a lot more cardiovascular stuff to get him set, because sometimes in the past, Damian, even though for his great skill level, didn't have the best cardio system to be able to go against a guy like John Fitch. Well, he's in shape, and it showed on the scale because his weight was so much lower, even with the shorts on. But John Fitch was exactly ready to go. He was on point, looked like he was ready to start a fight again. He could have fought right then without even having to rehydrate. He's ready to go right now. This, to me, is going to be the fight of the night.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. Now, I mentioned off the top, the battle before the battle, the fight before the fight is now said and done. It's very difficult to make weight for some of these guys. It is a huge struggle, but now it's done. What are these guys doing right now?
Well, most guys like Frankie Edgar likes to talk about how much he loves pasta. Most guys are going to carb load at this point because they have to deplete their bodies and overhydrate, literally trying to get a gallon or 2 gallons in depending on the size. A guy like Frankie and Jose will get about a gallon, and the bigger guys get closer to 2 gallons. Of course, the heavyweights will get 2 gallons in, force as much liquid into their system as they possibly can. They'll probably eat 2 or 3 times tonight. It's about 4:30 at night when they finally get off the scale. Then they're going to start getting 3 meals between now and when they go to bed. 3 full meals, trying to catch up for everything they lost in the last couple of days. A lot of eating, a lot of drinking, a lot of visualizing, but it's going to be a ton of just sleeping and trying to get as much rest as possible for tomorrow's fights.
In honor of the fighters, should we go eating 3 to 4 times tonight?
I'm going to eat at least 3 just because I want to feel like I'm still fighting. I feel like I just want to make weight. I'm that amped up about it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and help you eat as much as you can, but then I'm going to drink a couple bottles of wine, too, because that's how I recover.
I will be avoiding Frank at all costs when he starts drinking his wine. For Frank Trigg, I'm Showdown Joe, Sportsnet, Las Vegas.